Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be reading something that was sent to me by someone on YouTube, and it is a message that is another one of those that causes you to think because so many share the same experience. I'm going to read the message, then I'm going to come back and give my words or my address to what this person has sent. The message reads, Deborah, can you do a video about the daughters of Zion? If she wants to change, she will have to strip herself and rebuild herself all over again. In order for a black woman to have progress, she would have to cut out a lot of, I hate to say, black people out of her life. The ones who mean her no good, the ones who have been raped, molested, and older people told her to shut up, you are lying, insulting the victim instead of blaming the perpetrator. And then she leaves a link to a song by Mary Mary, in which the song is called Forgiven Me. I'm just going to read a few of the lyrics here for the song so that you can understand the mindset or where this person is trying to arrive as it relates to the things that have happened to them in their past. And this is what I gather from the message and from them sending this particular link. The song says, I hold a memory of myself, reflections of what I used to be. These broken roads that got me here can't make it hard to face reality. But a new day is here. It's time that I embrace it. Can't wait another day. Right now, I gotta face it. I never ever want to press rewind. Never want to go back in time. Not much glory in that story, but it's mine. So I am loving who I am today. The past has passed away. Finally, I have forgiven me. I hold a memory of myself so young and foolish and not knowing careless decisions that I made. I wish somebody would have told me, but a new day is here. It's time that I embrace it. Can't wait another day. Right now, I got to face it. Okay, those are just some of the lyrics to that song. I'm going to read a little bit more here. It says, the mirror on the wall, it makes me see today that I'm not the foolish girl. Time has brought a change, a transformation, the old into the new, when I let go of me and held on to you. And so again, that does sound like a very encouraging song to someone who has gone through something as what is described in this message. Now, many of us know people who have faced circumstances such as this, being raped or molested, and we've seen so many stories or tales of older people ignoring them or telling them to shut up or that they're lying, and just so many different scenarios played out throughout so-called black communities and communities, period, because there are, it doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Latino, Asian, so many women have gone through this, so many children, so many young men even have gone through these things, and to be dealt with harshly by those who have witnessed this or know of these things happening to them. It is a sad reality that we face in this world, to where victims are further victimized by those who don't care to offer support or love of any kind. And many reach out to get support from others, and they get the exact opposite. But what I'm going to focus on here is the very first portion of the message, in which this person says, she says, if she wants change, she will have to strip herself and rebuild herself all over again. So this is why I'm going to focus on the positive part of this, because we know so many people have been destroyed by these things that have happened to them in their lives. I mean, literally destroyed. We have witnessed this happen so many times. This is not a new story. You see, I personally know people who have gone through these type of traumas, these type of things that will literally crush some. Some are able to bounce back, some are not. But for the person who wants change, I have some words of encouragement for you. Whenever you go through this type of trauma, it is always best to start over from the very beginning, from the very foundation. Because your foundation has been not only shaken, but it has been demolished in some cases, especially depending on who has violated you in this way. For some people, it can be a crushing blow. But what you have to do is sometimes you have to You have to look at the situation and you have to deal with it. Sometimes you have to cry your way through it. It's not healthy to throw things out of your mind. It's not healthy to ignore that these things have happened to you. Sometimes you have to cry your way through it. And when I say cry, I mean cry. Sometimes crying is medicine for the soul. It is a release of all the buildup and the tension and the hurt that you're feeling on the inside. And sometimes you have to cry until your pillow is wet. And the Most High counts every last one of those tears. That's one of the phrases in my poem. I says, your tears are numbered as they fall from your eyes. So cry on, my friend. Yah hears your cries. You see, those tears that you cry, that's a testament to the pain that you're feeling inside. And once you've gotten through that state of mourning, or that point in your life to where you are dealing with that pain, then you can heal. If you never deal with it, if you never deal with the pain that you're feeling, you try to bury it, it's going to come out in other ways. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person who's been raped or molested, but there are so many different things that cause hurt in your life, and you cannot bottle up that pain. You cannot bottle up that pain. For me, one of the pains that I felt for a very long time, and it took the Most High Yah to heal this pain. And I shared this testimony before, but it was my biological father. My biological father, I would hear different things about him saying that I'm not his and I belong to someone else. And to hear the rejection coming from a person who was supposed to be responsible for me being in this world, it hurt so bad. As a kid, it hurt so bad to experience that and to feel like this man doesn't love me, that my father or my biological father does not love me. That hurt so bad. And so many of us have gone through that. So many of us have gone through that. I would cry and cry and cry. But as I got older, the Most High began to reveal some things to me. It took Yah to heal this. First of all, he revealed to me that he was my father. And so I developed a very strong, close relationship with the Most High as a result of being rejected by my earthly father. So when I finally came face to face with my earthly father again, because I met him when I was very young, 2, 3, 4 years old, and I didn't see him again until I was 19 years old. When I finally saw him again, that feeling of rejection left. I was looking at a man who himself had problems in his life. A man who had things that needed to be dealt with in his life. And when I was around him for a bit and I began to see and hear and know some of the things that he had done in his life and some of the actions he's done in his life and some of the words of others whose testimonies showed me some things about this man. And I'm not trying to say this to insult him in any way, but I realized that spiritually he was a child. Spiritually he was a child. And so it was impossible for him to be what I needed him to be. And so I was able to let go of the pain that I felt from not having my biological father, because I saw him with spiritual eyes at that point, that he was lost spiritually. And so all of those years of crying and feeling rejected and feeling unloved were erased when the Most High himself gave me the love that I needed. He was that father for me. Now, so many of you share that story as well, feeling lost without your biological father. Many of you share that story. Likewise, the story that the young woman submitted here, many of you share the story of being raped and molested. Now, that's totally different than being rejected or feeling rejected by a mother or father. That is a pain that, for a person who has experienced that, only you can testify as to what that is like. But I can imagine that you feel violated. I can imagine that you feel hurt, that a person who's never experienced that cannot explain. Especially depending on who it was that did these things to you. But in order to repair, what must we do? We must see things from a spiritual perspective. We must look at this thing that has happened to us, this thing that has violated our mind space, this thing that has infiltrated our minds and caused our focus to be on it for so long. We have to look at that, and we have to make a choice to discard this out of our minds. And we have to ask for healing from the Most High Yah. I'm not going to be really pushing therapy, especially from an earthly aspect. If anything, I would say if you have someone spiritual that you are able to speak with about certain things, that is a great thing, because many times when you speak to those who have an understanding about things, it's very important that you speak with those with an understanding, because sometimes you will speak with a person and you'll share with them, and you don't need to hear a person say that no good so-and-so. Oh, he's a worthless this, that, and the other. Oh, she ain't no. You don't need to hear that. When you're suffering and you're going through something, and whether it's a victim of rape or molestation, or someone who's been rejected by mother or father, or someone who's been hurt in other ways, mistreated by their husband, mistreated by their wife. Sometimes when you're going through things, you don't want to feel or hear another person attacking the person that has hurt you. What you're looking for is comfort for you. You're looking for someone to bring you comfort, give you words of encouragement, not someone who's going to launch an attack against a person who attacked you, because that doesn't heal the hurt that you're feeling. Like, even when I've spoken with sisters who have experienced hurt from their husbands, I like to be very careful, because this is someone that she loves. And even though she may be paining or hurting about something that this man has done to her, it is not my place to bash this man or say awful things about this man, thinking that I'm helping her. That is not the right way to do things. The right thing to do is to offer words of encouragement to the person who is being hurt, and not to bash the person that hurt them. Because if there is a reconciliation, they are going to remember what was said about this person that they love, even though that person hurt them. In all that we do, we must use wisdom. We must be led when we speak to others about situations. Like, even in the case of this person who has been raped or molested, and people are telling her that she is lying and that she needs to shut up. The first thing I would say, if you are old enough, get away from those kind of people, and do not go to them any longer with the pain that you're feeling inside. If you have no one around you, this is the best time to seek a close relationship with the Most High Yah. Because the Most High is definitely a comforter. I know this for a fact. I am a witness to him being a comforter. I am a witness to him being a father. He was the best father I could ever ask for. And so going to him, the Most High says that I draw nigh to those who are of a broken heart and a contrite spirit. He says, I draw nigh to you. The Most High wants to heal that hurt. He wants to be the one to bring you that comfort and to bring you that joy. That is the beginning of building your life up and starting all over again. Once you start a new chapter of your life, you can no longer dwell on the past. You can no longer dwell on that thing that hurt you. Once you have cried all the tears that you can cry, once you've removed yourself from that environment that reminds you of this pain or this hurt, Once you've separated yourself from the people that blamed you and that insulted you, and in some cases took sides with the perpetrator, once you have made that separation, you start one day at a time rebuilding yourself. I'm going to share a quick testimony of a young lady that I knew, and I'm going to be very vague with the testimony, but I'm going to give you the gist of the story. A young lady that we knew experienced something very, very similar to what is going on here. She was raped by her biological father. This young woman was raped, and she was hurt tremendously. And she dealt with the fact also that he was hurting her mom physically, mentally, spiritually. So much hurt was going on in that house. This young woman, I remember she got up in church and testified because everyone at this church knew what her father had done to her and to others as well. She got up and she testified and she said, I know what my father has done to me, but I want to stand here today and let you all know that I love him and I forgive him. And she began to praise the Most High Yah with all her heart, soul, and mind. And she cried out that day in a way that the praises of the Most High Yah went up in the building because everyone knew her story. And so everyone began to praise and weep and cry with her as she praised Yah, and she released that stronghold that was on her mind that day. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise be to the Most High Yah. But when she made that release, this young woman, her life began to soar. What I witnessed in this young woman, I would say she's about 3 years younger than me. What I witnessed in her life was miraculous from that point on. Despite what she went through, she went on, she raised some wonderful children. Her children are very smart, articulate. She didn't dwell on what her father had did. Her father eventually died in prison. She moved on with her life and she went on to do some wonderful things in raising her children. Some of them went off to college. They play instruments, and she herself is has a wonderful spirit about her because she didn't allow herself to be crushed by this thing that have taken so many people under to where they have never been able to recover. So she made a conscious decision that day that I am not going to let what happened to me ruin me for the rest of my life. So when you start from the bottom, when you start from the very beginning, start with the foundation. And that foundation has got to be built on the Most High Yah. I don't care what no therapists say. Any other foundation is sure to crumble. But when you start on the foundation of the Most High Yah, first dealing with what is in your heart, what's in your mind, cleansing yourself, purging your own self, knowing that you yourself did nothing wrong. This was a child. She was a child when these things happened to her. So she did nothing wrong. Once she came to terms with that, she says, I love my father and I forgive him. That is a good place to be when you want to start with healing. And you have to let the past stay where it is. When you dwell on it too long, it will pull you under like a sinking ship. But when you allow yourself to press forward to the mark for the prize of the high calling, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach, and forgetting those things which are behind, when you allow yourself to get to that point, you can truly heal. That's the beginning of it all. And then you look at yourself. You no longer have to look at yourself in shame, wondering why this thing has happened to you. Lose all of your guilt and shame. And begin to love on yourself as this new person that the Most High has created. Walk in that newness of life. And don't allow this thing to fester in your soul to where it brings you down to a low point. That's the one thing that a lot of people do who have experienced any type of hurt. I'm talking any type of hurt. Some people allow themselves to fester in that hurt, to wallow in that hurt, to dwell and live in that hurt. They don't want to release it. As long as you hold on to it and you don't want to release it, you don't want to let it go, you're going to keep your own self in that low state. That is a trick of the enemy. Not allowing you to move forward because you want to be in that state of pity and shame. You can't fight for the Most High Yah if you remain in that place. You cannot grow and flourish as a woman or a man if you allow yourself to stay in that place. So you must forgive yourself. You must love yourself. When I say love yourself, I'm not talking about yourself as in the things that are pleasing to you. I mean, you have got to get rid of that shame from this thing that has happened to you and realize and understand that you are worthy to be loved and that people do love you, that the Most High does love you, and that you are worthy to be loved. There are so many stories that I could share, so many. I know what it feels like to feel unloved. That is not a good feeling at all. And I'm going to just tell you right now, family, that's why every chance I get, I like to let my people know that I love them, because I remember coming up, hearing those words would bring so much joy and happiness to my heart. The enemy is trying to use others to cause you to allow that love to diminish. He's trying to use others to cause you to let it go and to focus on other things. But I think it's very important that we know that we are loved and that we express that love to others. I remember someone said, Sister Deborah, don't stop saying that you love us, because some of us never hear it and some of us need to hear it. And I understand that. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. You do need to hear it. And it's not just an expression with words. This is something that I know Yah has placed in me a long time ago. I know that our people can be hard sometimes. And they can present challenges to you. But that's not all of our people. That's not all of our people. Love is something that we should express to one another. If we can understand the foundation of love, and that sometimes love does come across as a little tough. There is a such thing as tough love, and I thank Yah for tough love. I get that from time to time from some of my elders. I thank Abba Yah for tough love. Love is not going to be always someone tolerating your mess. And see, that's the problem. A lot of times our people think because you don't tolerate their mess that you don't love them. It is because someone loves you that they will tell you about your mess. I feel like a person hates me if they're not going to tell me that I'm in danger. If my soul is at stake, I want you to tell me. That proves to me that you love me. If you're letting me know that my soul is at stake righteously. If you see that I'm about to fall off a cliff and you warn me, thank you. That's an expression of love to me. But a person allowing you to wallow in your foolishness, that is not love, because they don't want to hurt your feelings. No, you're not hurting their feelings, but you're hurting their soul. Okay, family, I know that I've said a lot here on a number of different things, but the main focus here is being able to rebuild from a place, from a very low place, that in many cases have been brought on you by the actions of others. Being able to rebuild, starting with the foundation and working your way up, is very important. It's very important that we learn to do this and move past hurt as quickly as we can. The longer you stay and wallow in it, the more detrimental it will be to your recovery. So for the person who submitted this message and all of those who have similar messages and concerns, I would like to say to you, be encouraged. Hold your head up high and know that you are loved. And with that, I will say, Shalom.